those days so we can watch the matches.
Okay. Thank you for that, C.
Back here, first things
be
first.
On the air, no problem.
Ooh, we're going viral. Earlier this week, Vince Carter announced he'll be returning for his 22nd NBA season. That would set an NBA record for most seasons played. And look at him showing off the hops in the dress clothes. Little reverse jam.
Vince, assuming he follows through and plays this season and nothing happens where he gets hurt, he will become the first, and I would guess only in perpetuity, player to ever play in 4 separate decades. The 90s, the aughts, the 10s, and then this next season is the 1920 season, the 20s.
Aren't there like 3 other NBA players that did 3 of them or something?
A lot of guys have done 3. Way more than...
Maybe I'm thinking of professional athletes.
Also, Jenna, what you're thinking about is your partner. I played in 3 different decades. Played in the 80s, the 90s,
that's
and the 2000s. So that's all.
Yep,
it's all.
I'm always thinking about you, see.
There's literally, hundreds and hundreds of players.
No, there's definitely something I heard.
What is that?
Maybe it was
Purgatory?
No, perpetuity.
Oh.
Forever.
It's time for your
Purgatory
AT&T wake-up
could be
call.
forever. Perpetuity is forever.
You keep acting like that.
Exactly. Purgatory could be good.
Kevin Durant remains on the sideline, ruled out for tonight's Game 4 against the Raptors, but Steve Kerr says there's a good chance he plays in Game 5. And after missing Game 3, Klay Thompson is a go for tonight. Nick, do the Warriors have the edge with Klay returning, but KD still out?
I believe the Warriors are going to win tonight, so if that means they got the edge, they got the edge. I think the Warriors are going to stave off what would be, this isn't an elimination game, but it is, to me, a de facto elimination game. You're not coming back from down 3-1 on a team as good as Toronto with the injuries that you have, being as undermanned as you are. And I do not think Kevin Durant's coming in to save the day in Game 5. Like, I think Kevin Durant, the earliest we could see him is Game 6, and that will be a lessened or a lesser Kevin Durant. So I think the Warriors have to win tonight, and I think they will win tonight.
Yeah, they have to win tonight. That don't mean they're going to win. Toronto Raptors, without Kevin Durant, are a better basketball team. That's why Jenna and I predicted them to be able to win this series. All they got to do is win their home games, and we're home free. Tonight would be the night that they could really put the Warriors and all this to bed as far as a three-peat, and they could also force Kevin Durant to try to play in a closeout game number 5.
All right, on to the controversy from Game 3. Kyle Lowry was involved in an incident on the sideline with a fan who we now know is Warriors investor Mark Stevens. Stevens shoved Lowry when he ended up in the crowd diving for a ball. The NBA has banned Stevens for 1 season, fined him $500,000. Nick, what did you make of this?
I think Adam Silver in the league did the absolute right thing. I was glad, by the way, that Kyle Lowry responded as professionally as he did, or else this could have altered the finals. Yeah. This could have been a really ugly. The
NBA was very fortunate that they had the type of man going into the stand, saving that ball, and was involved in this encounter.
Because that guy was going to push whoever he could, as long as it wasn't a Warrior. Whomever came into that crowd.
I don't necessarily know that. I don't give him that. I typically,
you know, okay, fair enough. The point I'm making is I don't know that every Raptor would have responded with the same restraint.
If that's Marc Gasol, does he push Marc Gasol?
I don't know. I think he pushes Serge. I think he pushes Serge Ibaka, and I don't know if Serge responds the way Lowry responds. That's the point I'm making. But Dylan Byers reported the Warriors' other owners might force him to sell his shares. But this is a real penalty for him, even if they don't. To be banished for the first year at the Chase Center. This guy's got courtside seats and a suite. At the very least, he's not going to be able to experience that the first year at the Chase Center next season. It is a just penalty. If not, they could have gone further.
No, they should go further. He shouldn't be associated with the NBA. There is no way they should allow a minority owner, majority owner to be able to make contact that they initiated that contact with the NBA players, let alone a regular season game. We should be able to send the message, if you go to an NBA game, do not think you can touch the players. Where else do you think you can touch someone?
And by the way, even if he'd never touched him, a partial owner of the team telling him to go bleep himself.
Yes.
What are you doing? You're a damn near 60-year-old man. It's just ridiculous.
All right, let's move on to the NFL now. Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz will be in Philly for a while. The team showed their faith in the oft-injured Wentz, signing him to a 4-year, $128 million extension with nearly $108 million guaranteed. See, you surprised with all that guaranteed money given his injury history?
I'm not surprised. Over the next 2.5 years, man, we're getting ready to see people back up the Brinks truck, Jenna, and they're getting ready to drop a bunch of cash. They're going to give you a little bit of it, too. But really these NFL quarterbacks, man, they getting ready to get paid. We're getting ready to see NBA-like contracts going to guys like Carson Wentz. It's going to be a number. There's at least 5. Nick goes through them all the time. The young guns that we have that are going to be coming up on contracts in the next couple of years. I'm just surprised at the timing. I thought that they might wait another 6 to 9 months because there's 2 years left on that contract.
And the 2 guys that are next up of the young quarterbacks, one shares an agent with Carson Wentz. That's Jared Goff.
Oh, okay.
And the other shares a division with Carson Wentz. That's Dak Prescott. They are all the same draft class. Goff has 2 years left on his deal because of the 5th-year option like Wentz did. Dak only has the 1 year left. This is not a question of ability. It's a question of availability. The guy had a broken wrist in college, cracked ribs his first year in the NFL, blew up his knee his second year, had a stress fracture in his back the 3rd year. If he can stay on the field, this is a very good contract for Philadelphia.
All right, finally, Tom Brady received his 6th Super Bowl ring yesterday, but winning his 7th might be the tough one. Not easy to win without a Gronk on your team, and Gronk says he does not want to be on a team. Despite him saying that, reports are the Patriots do expect him back this season. Until then, Brady says it is on him to figure out how to duplicate success with a depleted group of weapons.
No one's going to make any excuses for our offense. We're going to do everything we can to be the best we can be, score every time we touch the ball. And tight end position is a big part of our offense, and those guys are going to have to do a great job for us.
At this point, CC, would it be foolish for the Pats to rely on Gronk's return from retirement? Should they assume they don't have him and move on from there?
To me, this is very, very easy. This is one of the most unpredictable New England things I've ever heard of. Like, people think New England, like they think, oh, man, what about New England? New England does things a certain way. It wouldn't be this way. Oh, you know, a player retires. Oh, you know something? Take your time, come back week 10, week 12. That's not what they do. They slowly build their team. They go through training camp. They try guys out at different positions. They get in the first month of the season, and that's like training camp. The first 4 games, they're going to experiment a whole lot. If you want to beat New England, you need to catch them early. Man, October, they start retooling. They get momentum in November and December, and they are ready to peak once they get to the playoffs. So you're saying that the one player on their roster that they're going to allow to hijack the franchise and be like, I'm not going to do it the New England way. I'm just going to hang out, do whatever I want. And then late in the football season, I'm getting ready. There's no one who respects the process of developing football players, not only from an X's and O's standpoint, but a conditioning, what they need, more than the New England Patriots. This is what they do. And trying to think that Gronk and New England have an understanding, oh, I'm going to come back later on. No, I don't believe that. I watch them how they do business, and I would be shocked if this was a plan. Now, Gronk trying to come back and play, I wouldn't be shocked about that because we've seen too many good players trying to come back and play this game. But thinking that New England is in agreement with Rob Gronkowski and his agent that he's going to come back later in the season, no, that's not the way they do business.
This is the New England Patriots. You remember when Roger Clemens signed with the Houston Astros? And it's like, hey, you don't have to pitch in road games. They had all this thing set up because, A, they didn't have the organizational infrastructure of 20 years of high-level success that the Patriots have, and B, Clemens was the best player in the league at what he does. The Patriots have the infrastructure, and Gronk, while those were enormous moments, in the biggest moments even last year, a lesser Gronk still made the biggest plays. In that Chiefs game, AFC Championship game, Gronk showed up when they needed him, and the single biggest offensive play of the Super Bowl was not the touchdown, it was the play that led to the touchdown. So I'm not doubting Gronk's ability to channel it momentarily, but what would they be relying on? His 47 catches? His 3 regular season touchdowns?
No.
Listen, Gronk is... Go ahead, Jenna.
This is what you rely on. You rely on the one game where you absolutely know you need a couple of first downs. You relied on the one game where you know you need to win this one game. You don't have him for a full game, for a full season. But when Tom Brady knows that this ball needs to be caught and you need to get a first down,
that if you haven't been on the team. I don't know that. Like, I don't think you can just be out of football all year and then all of a sudden come win and be that guy in the biggest moments. I think you can be within the team and after having been training all year, playing all year, channel a former version of yourself for moments, but to not be with the team till Halloween and then all of a sudden be a guy who's going to show up in the biggest spots, I don't find it realistic. And obviously I think Chris is right in that this would be so different than anything we've ever seen the Patriots do. It's not like they were forcing Gronk to retire. They would have welcomed him back. He said, I want to retire. For the idea that they would be saying behind the scenes, Gronk, we know you're coming back, take your time. It would just be a first. It would be something we haven't seen from the Patriots.
New England Patriots and Tom Brady, they have moved on from every receiver that was his favorite target. And they moved on quick. It was swift. All right, his number one target, the wide receiver that played both ways.
Troy Brown.
Troy Brown. Oh, what are we going to do with him? Oh, they moved on from him.
Right, then
Deion Branch. Moved on from him. What about Randy Moss? Best season he ever had. Straight cash homie. Straight moved on from him. Wes Welker, his new best friend. Wife was tweeting, shoot, he can't throw it and catch it. Moved on from him. Hernandez, tragic. Moved on from him. Yep. If you think you watch New England, think one person, like, people don't come back to New England. They made an adjustment by Josh McDaniel coming back. Coach Mangini, there's a reason why he didn't go back to New England. That ain't what Belichick believe in. Once you go out that door, you gone. He don't expect to see you again. And for us to think that he's getting ready to change the way he's getting ready to develop players over one player, no, that's not Belichick. It's not the Belichick that I know, love, and respect.
All right, we'll leave it there. Let's take a break. Back to basketball on the other side. Can the Raptors duplicate their Game 3 success tonight? Next on First Things First.